back to the table of discussions, and so many things happening at the same time. Just pick a few of them to analyze. Chris MADUKA joins us. Good to have you. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Charles. Good morning, the world. Welcome to our newspaper review on Signature Television. It's another brand new day, and it is bright and early.
Indeed, bright and early. How bright can it really be? I mean, from our end, where we are hearing that there have been more encapsulation, if you like, a creation of a new terror group called Mahmoud, and they are operating around the north central region. I mean, Lakurawa or Lukarawa, whatever that means. I mean, we heard the other time that they are operating in the northwest, and now we have another one operating in the north central. And I'm just wondering, and we still have an issue with Boko Haram that has not even gone away. Do you think that our security apparatus, are in tandem, are in line with what is going on right now as the security issues that we're having? Do they have the capacity to dismantle these security issues that we're having?
Charles, I don't know. I do not work with Nigerian security apparatus. I'm neither a policeman, neither am a member of the Nigerian Army, nor Nigerian Air Force, or Customs, Civil Defense, or DSS, and special squads, and so many of them exist these days. But let me start at my usual way of saying, if you hold down a giant and you're not able to slap him, is it when the giant stands up that you'll be able to hold down and slap? Are you going to be jumping and slapping the giant? Since 2012, we started with Boko Haram. It was when the giant fell flat on the ground and you were on top of the giant and you could not slap or do anything you want to do with the giant. Is it now that the giant is standing up? Ijidim banana. That is my explanation, and I always use the knowledge, the little knowledge I got from my father's philosophy. Now, what am I saying? Because of the interest, whatever that interest is, you find out that insecurity is having a, what do you call, I don't know whether in food, they call it GMO, genetically modified organisms. It's like our insecurity issues are mutating. I don't know what kind of gene they developed. Even COVID-19 at the point is that it was, there was no kind of English we had during the COVID days, of variants of COVID-19. Now we find out that the security situation in Nigeria is mutating into different variants and species. Now it's still time, like you asked me. You can do list from the days we had of Boko Haram. At a point, we start hearing of ISWAP. At the point, we started hearing so many other things that the factions, even ISWAP, had factions that are fighting and who will control one territory or another. Suddenly we started hearing Lukarawa. And then we have whatever we call themselves now, Mahmuda, or whatever. I don't know what we hear tomorrow morning. Meaning that some people that were recruited into this terror, probably given incentive and motivation, even more than, I think whoever, the way they are recruiting and getting people to fight and kill people, mean that they are giving more motivation more than probably Nigerian security is giving to the personnel. And they find them in various videos crying that even the sophistication of weapons that these terror groups have command is heavy. Now, I've said that yesterday, if we as a nation we should probably stop. My little knowledge of economics is that if you have money you don't spend, you are saving it. It's still any money you do not spend, you save. So anything we do, if we do not do anything, stop this mutation and this growth expansion now. Only God knows.
But do you think it's in any way political? Because again, we haven't had these things in the last 2 years. This security situation was quite quiet for a bit up until this year. I mean, it's just 3 weeks, 1 month or so that we started hearing about these consistent killings in Benue and in Plateau and all that. Do you think it's something sinister that's building up to the 2027 elections, and maybe somebody is doing that in order to make this government look bad? I mean, worse than it's already looking, in terms of economic policies and all that.
We can always try to put fingers on it and blame whoever want to blame. Since 2012, there's insecurity in Nigeria. Whether what brought it was emotional blackmail, marginalization, the insensitivity of government, politics, religion. Whatever reason terror came into Nigeria must be very strong and should have been addressed. But even at this time now, you look around, people will say, I've heard that, it sounded familiar, but that's a deception. Terror had existed before even 2007 is mooted. Before you say 2007, terror has been in Nigeria. So let nobody deceive nobody. If anybody had given room for that kind of idea to be used against them, that means we are failed to do certain things. Because I know one music that these children, they call Umu Bilibu. He said, whoever, a man who is feeling unsuccessful in any tool, a feel that is frustrated and is desperate, will always have a reason. If any man would go into business, he fails, and then he can hold on to drug abuse or alcoholism as the only thing that he will fall back on. So let nobody fall back on political oppositions, because nobody will use that kind of thing, because it's like using pepper to cure madness. Are you using insecurity as a political opposition against who? Who are they killing? Political opposition. What are they the ones that are being killed? It's still Nigerians. Even if you're a politician using it, it's still Nigerians who will come back tomorrow to fall upon them to vote for you that are being killed. So what is senseless? I'm not ruling out anything anyway. I'm not a spokesman of opposition politicians, nor the sitting government. I am asking for whatever is happening to us, let those people, at least for once, have human feeling. We are bleeding to death. We are dying. And we are, these Nigerians like us, every day, numbers. Look at how we are counting numbers in Benue. Numbers risen to 86. And here you have an NSA. In Benue says the attack is tragic and evil. You find in another newspaper headline, they oppose, they have a contradiction in the NSA. At what point are we going to leave all these talks? The fact remains that whether they are not one single person, they're still Nigeria. Even if it's a single person that died in Benue. And now we're talking about 86. In which crisis in Nigeria have we had such people die in less than 1 week? From one location. For just being Nigerians, and we are here arguing on, on sentiment, or whether you pronounce it right. In this our business of broadcasting, there are times people you'll be talking something serious. Somebody say, "Hey, you didn't pronounce Charles very well. You should have bent your mouth to say Charles." But if I remember, Charles is Charles, no matter how I pronounce it. This security in Nigeria, in Benue recently, in Plateau. It's not something anybody will be disagreeing with anybody. It's just to sit down, accept the fact that the National Security Advisor may not have advised well for us to have this case. If you visit there and start looking for who to blame, this is not time to throw blames. There's time to sit back, no matter the differences, and look at how we solve this. Otherwise, it will happen again. And the NSA will have to visit there and probably have to disagree with the governor, who is sitting governor, who has not been given any power. I don't understand why you should say I'm the chief security officer of a state. And my house is burning. I can't say, hey, I'm waiting for somebody. I call on somebody to get order to quell. And before that order gets to, we see viral video where some mobile police force people, whether it's real or fake, I don't know. But in Nigeria, you don't pretend you don't hear anything. Saying that they even don't give them orders to attack. Now, that guy was saying, you know what counter force will be, whatever that means. I'm not. But these days, you keep putting 2 and 2 together to make a sense out of this puzzle. It's a puzzle for whoever using that, because my father told me, once Nigeria is not at peace, that is where the evil man thrives. So how long can we remain? The Bible says, for how long can you remain in sin for grace to abound? The Igbo Bible says, Tufiakwa, God forbid. That's the Tufiakwa in Igbo is God forbid. How long are we going to remain in this mess? And we are trying to be politically correct. God forbid. But then, the Libya that specializes in doing juju for diarrhea or cholera, he did not put his nyash up here. Because by mistake, he will test it, he will enter his mind, and then everybody. You know, what goes around will come around. That is true. Libya golo otolo. And that is it. Whether the NSA, someday he will not be NSA. He has a village where he comes from. He might not be there. And when we are crying, there are some generals who are crying up north or somewhere in the middle belt. When they were in the Asorok, and when they were very close there, whether it was Asorok then, or whether it was in Lagos, Northern Barracks, they were in power. Now, some of them are regretting and crying. Do whatever you have to do right now. That's my advice. Well, if you take it, fine. If you don't take it, the house will not collapse and the roof remains. When it comes to this issue of security, the sooner Nigeria realizes this, because mutation is mutated into ISWAP, mutated Boko Haram, mutated into other things, herdsmen, mutated into known and unknown government, mutated into Mudaba. We don't know what the next mutation we have spreading like kerosene.
We heard on the Punch newspaper this morning that Fubara actually met with the president in London, and the publication actually suggests that Fubara might shift ground after the meeting. That they must have discussed a thing or two regarding the emergency rule in Rivers. Do you think that this might in some way quell the situation or maybe escalate it, because Wike is also a particular factor?
There is, you know, at this time we're only talking about 2007 build up. 2007 is already built. It's not more like building up. It's already built. So some of these horse trading are related. Directly or indirectly. There's no how they pretend it has to do. So Fubara might have moved, graduated from being a career accountant to being a full-time politician. And then whatever, the snake that used their tail to touch other politicians will bite him soon. And he will know how the venom of Nigerian politics tastes. He's already testing it. And for him to remain alive, might decide to use whatever means available to cure the venom. But the venom of Nigerian political situation has beaten Fubara. And he's running around looking for heal or cure. So nobody can predict. There are a lot of magic makers who come predict that I can cure your venom. He has beaten you. Whatever solution, what the man is looking for is solution to cure the political snake that has beaten him, and the venom is running in his blood. So I wish him good luck. Whatever way, what remains is that Obi went to army to return and show evidence. And that's what. So the last duty of a man, according to Isdo Peho, I read that book in higher school. Isdo Peho, a prolific writer, he said the last duty of a man is not to go to war to die. The last duty of a man is to go to war, come back and tell the story. And he called that book The Last Duty of a Man. You read it, very unique writing style there. So, the last duty of Fubara is to find a way of curing the political snake that has beaten him and has the venom running around his brain. Like one musician said, he's smoking Igbo, is running around his brain. This one is political Igbo that's running around Fubara's brain. So if he solved the UK Congress or conference or meeting, fine. If it's to shift ground, fine. What is important is that that venom, if it doesn't go out of his way, he will keep running around. That's the way I talk about it.
All right. We're also seeing some interesting developments as it relates to IMF cutting global growth forecasts because of Trump tariffs. Nigeria's growth was actually slashed to around 3%.
Nigeria walks tightrope as IMF sees higher inflation, lower oil price. Well, each time you bring the issue of IMF, some of them will sit somewhere and say, what problem do I have with IMF? My problem I have with IMF, World Bank, all those big financial institutions, let them allow the small nations like Nigeria to breathe. You can see how Trump has coughed in US and see how the ricochet of countries catching cold. And you see, one is a minor. The major players are working around, but the only thing that made them put us here is that oil. The oil. They will make sure they're getting that oil almost free to go and process it and send it back here. Nigeria has population, and all the world are looking for, they are standing upon us not to grow so that they will have market for their goods.
Yeah.
If we grow, where will they sell these things? So all these things are international economic war. The only thing is, whatever you do for your girlfriend, he will not call you a son. He will not call you papa. He will only look at you as that man. Nothing. Nobody will love Nigeria more than Nigeria themselves. If you are waiting, running around these people, IMF, they decide what happens here. It's like taking your best man, who is very handsome, more handsome than you, to go and visit your girlfriend. That is, Ipinyo ogiri no okay. Like my people will say, you know what they call ogiri? I don't know what you call it in English. But ogiri is a seasoner, food seasoner. You use it to cook ofonumu, bitter leaf soup. And where I come from, ogiri is very important. Oh, okay, the rat cannot, he can do anything to take ogiri. Ogiri is a specialty. So when you keep ogiri, okay is looking for you to bite. You now carry the ogiri to go to the hole of rat to put it. That is what Nigerians are doing when they carry all our economic structure and policy and the secret and lay it bare with IMF and the World Bank. And you're hoping that they'll give you advice. Every advice I see coming from IMF about Nigeria is suspect. Because nobody loves you more than... Of course, they told us there's no free meal, not even in Freetown. So why are we talking about them to decide for us what happened? Until we stand strong, we can't go to international negotiation. Because a bird that has very soft skull cannot go for the fight of a woodpecker. You know the woodpecker and his kind of fight. Nigeria has very soft skull. And they come here messing and talking about just to stand political correct. Where are we? What do we have? We are going for tariff war and international economic war. We don't have anything. We are just... They are looking at us because they see us as source of material they use to fire the embers of the economic growth. After all, they've done it in a bigger way and are suppressing it. They are coming the lighter way. Is it not from here they move all the slaves that developed UK and Europe? Have they paid us back? So is it because we are trying to forget? But we can never forget, no matter how they suppress it. And that's why they don't want us to actually stand on our ground to remember. So they put us in distraction, continuous distraction. Finnish court approves Simon Ekpa's extradition to Nigeria, the Daily Times. I see another crisis.
How?
Crisis is when Simon Ekpa is extradited to Nigeria, Nigerian government will put him in detention. Now that are saying that the chicken put his mouth The same chicken carry 2 legs put in a plate of food. The guess is as good. Your guess is as good as mine. If you bring back Simon Ekpa and Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention, you bring Simon Ekpa, and Nigerian government holds him back and put him in detention, and we begin fresh talks on both sides. And these two gentlemen, for whatever reason, have followers that are bringing security issues in southeast Nigeria. They are thinking that probably the distraction at IPOB and whatever associated with it causing in southeast is not enough. They now bring Simon Ekpa back and extradition and hold him. Your guess is as well. Let it not be what I'm thinking. But whatever it is, no matter how we make our mind, but they will have southeast governors, and they are waiting for Simon Ekpa to be extradited. And probably the government of Nigeria, they will not extradite him and hand him over to southeast governors. They will extradite him and put him, the federal government we know how we handle the issue. We have not come out of 1, and you are taking us to 2. Only God will help Nigeria. God help Nigeria and bless Nigeria, Charles.
Thank you so much, Chris MADUKA, for your insights on the program this morning. We're back right after the short break. Do stay with us.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.